So you want to discover how to send must-read emails with your email marketing that get clicks. I send an email just about every day for myself or for my clients to one of our lists. And so I'm going to share with you the proven ideas and templates that you can use to get results. So the first one is what I call the power question 9-word email. It could actually be less. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a subject line that's going to have the person's name, so you may say like John, comma, quick question. And then in the email, what you're going to do is just ask them a very simple question. Hey, are you still interested in whatever it is that you were marketing to them for? So like for me, I may say, hey, are you still interested in launching your sales funnel? Or hey, are you still interested in designing a digital business or something like that? The second is what I call the Jim Edwards teaser email. And it goes something like this. You want to start with a shocking statement. Then you want to write 2 to 4 bullet points. Then you want to finish with a call to action, sending them to whatever it is, the thing that you want them to go to. And then just close with a personal note. So, for example, here's what it would look like. Did you know that 90% of affiliate marketers fail? And then transition into those bullet points, give them a couple there, and then say, hey, click here to see it in action. And then I'll see you on the other side. That's essentially how that one would go. Also, by the way, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a link in the description below. Like I put this all together into a PDF. So like if you want to actually like get these templates in writing and then you can have that as a reference point, feel free to do that. Again, link is in the description. The next tip is what I call the just checking in. I actually got this email from Quicken or Rocket Mortgage now. When I was going through this process with them many, many years ago, there was an email that they sent after every time they tried to contact me, and it was crazy effective. And so the subject line is just checking in. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put, hey, and then the person's name, and then you'll say, I haven't heard back from you, which tells me one of two things. And then the first thing is going to be something extreme and practical. And then the second thing you'll say is, oh, or, you've been really busy doing some pretty cool stuff. I can't wait to find out which one it is. It's a very lighthearted email. It's very, very chill, and you will get amazing results with people responding to this email, just kind of letting you know exactly where they're at in the process. Now, the next one is the Frank Kern Evergreen email. Now, this one is really cool. You can kind of set this up in like an automated sequence if you want. And so what you do is this is short and sweet and really, really to the point. So like it'll say something like, hey, I just shot a really, really cool video that shows you how to, and then insert the desired result, right? So I may say, hey, I just shot a really cool video showing you how to launch a sales funnel in 10 minutes. You can check it out here. And then literally you just link to the sales page. And then hopefully you have a VSL or like a webinar or something there, and they go there and watch. And then as like a bonus tip, what Frank will do is that later in the day, he will actually resend it later, but just add like the RE semicolon in the beginning of the subject line, or like the FWD for forward in the beginning of the subject line. And then like in the body, he'll say something like, hey, I just wanted to make sure you saw this. So it's actually a really, really cool method. And I like that one a lot. And hopefully you're kind of picking this up, right? You don't need to be some elaborate, amazing writer to do really well with email marketing. It's really just about actually sending them something that you know that they're interested in, and above all else, focusing on that relationship. But all right, let's go to the next tip, which is the objection killer. This one, you want to pick a common objection or myth in your niche, and then you want to mention that in the first line of the email, and then use the rest of the email to debunk it. And then you want to finish with a call to action. So like if I'm thinking about common myths related to like sales funnels, it may be something that you have to have a lot of design skills and be a really good designer to launch a sales funnel. So I may start that email by saying something. A lot of people are talking about not having enough design background or tips in order to launch their funnel. And then I'll spend the rest of the email kind of debunking that and explaining, how that myth got started, why it's not, why it's not true, why it's toxic, why it's hurting you. And then I'll finish with a call to action to the thing, associated with it. The next one is the customer testimonial. And here's the cool thing that you all will find is that the more that you email market and actually like go through this process, you will realize that the emails literally write themselves. Literally, they write themselves. But all right, so the customer testimonial. Before you get into the testimonial, you actually want to start with a problem or complaint that people have in your niche, right? So you may see a customer testimonial that says, man, working with so and so, I was able to lose 100 pounds, right? So, but instead of just starting with that testimonial, start with a complaint where people are saying, man, I spend a lot of time doing this and I just can't lose the weight. And then put your customer testimonial there to it's kind of similar to the objection killer, email, but this one you're going to debunk that problem or complaint, but you're just going to actually use that testimonial as your grounds for doing it. Then you want to elaborate on it a little bit more and then finish with a call to action. All right, now the next tip, the how-to email. This one is super straightforward, how to get X result, and then you just want to kind of give them like an A to Z. This is what you got to do to get the result. I would only list the steps. I wouldn't actually go into like hard teaching and all the minutia of do this, do this, do this, and put too many details inside of that email. So like try to limit that to maybe like 4 or 5 points, like do this, then do that, then do that. And then in your call to action, you would actually have something like this is exactly what I teach my students inside of, and then like, insert your offer and a link and then tell them that they can get it there. Now, the next one is the straight promo email. Now, this one is straight selling. It's not for the faint of heart. I know a lot of people out there, I don't want to burn off the list. I don't want to make too many offers, blah, 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 all that stuff. Like I get it, but hey, listen, sometimes you just got to hit them with a straight pitch. And the funny thing is, one of my the examples of this is Ben Settle. He'll just put in the subject line, like, straight pitch or pitch debauchery or whatever it is that he's got going on. And so the way this one works is very simple. Here's what I got. Here's what it does. Here's how long you have to buy it. You can include the price in that email if you want. I tend to shy away from including price in email just because of like spam and all of this other stuff. I usually don't include the price of things in emails, or at least I try to limit how frequently I do that. But again, that's the straight promo email. It's just that simple. Here's what I got. Here's what it does. Here's how long you have to get it. And then, of course, call to action, go to the link below. All right. The next one is the daily story idea. Now, I have an acronym for this, but I can't say it because this video would then be flagged by the algorithm. So I'm just going to say the framework and then you'll pick up on what that acronym is. And this is my framework for this. It is the hook, entertain, moral of the story or tie-in, and then the promotion. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Hook, entertain, moral of the story or tie-in to whatever it is that your niche talks about, and then you want to promote at the end. And as far as like the reason why I say entertain is because that's going to be different in every email. So sometimes it may be a story, sometimes it may be a fact, sometimes it may be a situation. So let me give you an example. I might be reading, say, Apple News, and I see a really interesting story. And I look at that story, I figure out how it ties into what my audience likes to read in their emails, and then I write according to that framework. So let me give you an example. Earlier today, I was reading a story about Danica Patrick, who had some physical enhancements made because all of her, she was on the smaller side. Those are her words, right? And she used to just look at before and after images of augmentations and enhancements and just envision what her life would be like. Well, long story short, she got the enhancements done. She recently had them removed because she started experiencing these health issues. And apparently, like, there's not a lot of research and data on that stuff, and not a lot of women talk about it, but like there is a growing amount of women now talking about it, but whatever, right? So what's the point of that? And how does that tie into people who want to funnelize their businesses, I say, who want to have these digital businesses? Well, the way that it ties in for me is because I know a lot of people in my niche are actually always looking at these experts and these gurus online that are flashing their Stripe account and flashing their houses and talking about all the sales that their teams closed. And a lot of times people in my niche, especially, people who aren't at that level yet, they start thinking about that before and after. They start looking at themselves as inadequate. It actually demotivates them to fulfill their purpose because they're just thinking, I'll never be good enough. I'll never, my list isn't big enough. My social media following isn't big enough. And in reality, they have everything that they need in that moment to get to the next level. And if they just focused on being consistent and doing the things that they need to do to get to that level, once they got there, they're equipped to get to the next level. But they're stagnated because they're so busy feeling inadequate. And so that's how I do it, right? Hook, entertain, moral tie-in, and then promote at the end. All right, let's go to the next one. This is one of my favorite emails. This actually doesn't come from a marketer, but one of the greatest negotiators of all time. His name is Chris Voss. And this is the "Have you given up" email. So this one's very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to put the person's name in the subject line, and then you're going to put "Have you given up?" So for example, you may say, "John, have you given up?" And then in the body, all you're going to do is say, "John, have you given up?" Now you can amend this and add like whatever it is you were talking about before. So for example, again, I might say, "John, have you given up on funnelizing your business?" Or "Have you given up on launching your course?" or something like that. Or you could just leave it at "Have you given up?" It really depends on the conversation. Now, you can use this if you are actually in that sales process with the individual. And let's say you do one-to-one selling, but you can also use this if you're selling a digital product and you want to have an abandoned cart sequence. This could be the final email that you send on like day 4 or 5 or whatever. So it is a really, really good email. You will get a lot of responses to that one. All right. The next one, the pain point eraser. So what you're going to do with this one is that you're going to just put a subject line, "How to get rid of," and then insert the pain point, and then usually finish with like a time frame. So you could say fast, quick, immediately, overnight, whatever. So like I might say, "How to get rid of copywriter's block fast," or something like that. And then what you're going to do is that in the body of that email, you're going to follow the tried and true format, which is problem, agitate, solve. So state the problem, agitate it more, and then solve it. It's just that. Here's the next one. And this is actually the last one, by the way. The weekly blog update. Now, this is for the individuals that aren't going to email every day. Now, I'm a big proponent of emailing every day, but I also understand that maybe that just doesn't work for you. And that's totally fine. Consistency trumps quantity. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. Consistency trumps quantity. You want to be consistent because it doesn't really do any good to send 10 emails in a row for 10 days and then don't email again for 2 months. You'd be better off taking those 10 emails, splitting it up and sending one a week, and then actually having all of your emails done for almost a quarter and then just doing another 10. Okay. So again, for the people in the back, consistency trumps quantity. Right? So this one is called the weekly blog or weekly update. And what you're going to do is you're going to write like that atomic blog. So basically, or essay or whatever you want to call it, is basically like a 400-word email. And you do that once a week. You usually have a theme for that week, and it's very heavy on the teaching side. So that is the weekly blog. And then to give you an example, it might be something like if I was going to do something like that, I might say, "Hey, how to build a list in 3 steps." And then inside of that actual weekly blog update email, whatever, it'll be like, again, a 400-word essay on, "Hey, here's how you do it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and then some type of call to action as well. And I'll tell you who does a really good job of this, Jim Edwards. So like if you're on Jim's list, he emails about twice a week. Once a week, he'll say, hey, here's where Jim will be next week. And then like he lists like his schedule and everything else, which, hey, listen, by the way, if you're a content creator, I know that like the people that go live on Twitch do this, but any content creator really could take advantage of that, where you basically just say your upcoming schedule for the week. Like, hey, on Tuesday, there's going to be an Instagram post. On Wednesday, it's going to be this. On Thursday, I'm going to be live, whatever, however you're doing that. Like that's a really valuable email to send, by the way. I admittedly don't take advantage of that myself. And it's something that I'm strongly considering doing, but I know that in like the Twitch space and then the live streaming space, those people are always posting like when and where they're going to be live. Now, again, this is aside from his promotions. Okay, so that's just what he does on a weekly basis. But there you have it. That's the video. Let me know if you've tried any of these emails already yourself. Let me know which one you like. If I left anything off, let me know in the comments what I left off. And until the next time.